Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi everyone. Welcome to GFX Farhan. In this video, I'm gonna show you the process of how to create large scale smoke in Houdini 19. Very humble request for newcomers to the channel. Please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon because I keep sharing new computer graphic related projects here like Houdini, 3ds Max, Adobe Photoshop and Adobe After Effects. First of all, let me show you the final result of today's tutorial. After that, we will move on. This is my final result. Okay, after seeing this result, maybe you have many questions in your mind. Don't worry, I will answer all of them now. Before that, I would like to thanks to the Gnomon Workshop who launched a very good course of introduction to Pyro FX in Houdini. Because I am beginner level student of Houdini, I have learned a lot about Pyro in this course. If you want to learn in detail about Pyro, there is a link in description. So come back to the topic. So you may have noticed some artifacts and low res in my result, like here some artifacts, and the smoke is also low res. First reason is that I have mid-range gaming laptop which is not perfect for achieving high-end 3D simulation and 3D rendering in less amount of time. And second reason, for the tutorial purpose, this result is enough. And the third reason is that I rendered this in 3ds Max using V-Ray for the first time, and there is option in V-Ray volume grid, step percent and shadow step percent. If you increase these, then rendering time is fast, but it create artifacts in the smoke. So in my final render, I increase the shadow step to 450, which creates artifacts in my smoke where the smoke is darker or where is the shadow. Actually, I want fast rendering, so I increase this. One thing more I forgotten, below here is a blur option. I also forgotten to reduce the blur option to decrease it, so my smoke is little bit blur. This is my whole setup: smokestacks, smoke, lighting, and camera. This is my file node where I import an FBX file of these tags. First, I downloaded these models from internet and import in 3ds Max, apply some textures, UVs, and save as a FBX, and then import in Houdini. Then I add normal. Okay, I see. This is my file node, and it's it comes from 3ds Max, which is so big. Then I add normal node, point normal. After that, I transform it to this scale, and this is my tower number 1, and this is my tower number 2. Here I add some blast nodes by separating them. this is null, and then this is not necessary. And here I add separate nodes. This is for collision purpose. Add a blast node, poly extrude, poly split, split 2, 3, subdivide, and add a null. I use this for collision because these walls are thin, and adding collision on these are not working. Smoke coming out from these. So I add extra. Okay, so these are my towers for the smoke. Add geonode, name it smoke, double click and open it. Now here add tube, which is used for source. Change this to 1, 1, change this to 1.7, 0.5, 50, and check the end cap. Okay, now add transform node and move 10 unit up this in Y direction. Now add pyro source, change this to volume scatter and source is to smoke, and decrease the particle separation to add some detail. Now we need to add noise attribute, change this to P. In my case, amplitude work for me 0.3, and change the range value to 0 centered, and element size to 0.7, and I also add offset on Y direction, $T multiply by 5. Okay, add again noise attribute. Now this time we need to add on density. So density is a float density. Click on this to visualize, change this to 0 centered, and amplitude is 1, and element size is 0.8, and also add little bit animation of 0.21 pulse duration. And you can also use enable remap ramp for adding contrast in the density. You can also add this by adding min and max. This is my density, and make sure also check the minimum to 0. Hold control and copy it and name it temperature noise. This is my temperature noise. Change this to temperature, and change some value of ramp element size to 75, and pulse duration to 25. This is my temperature noise, and I also add offset to 20. This is my temperature. Point velocity. In point velocity, change this to set to value. Now here, this is my camera. Now here I want to my smoke goes in this direction, up and in this direction. Change this to 1 and this to -1, Z direction. Add curl noise, scale 1, pulse duration to 0.45, and swirl size to 0.24. Add volume rasterize node, volume rasterize attribute, and hold control and copy it. Now in this node, add density and temperature, check normalize, So this is my density and temperature, and in this node add only velocity. Actually, I separated the velocity from density and temperature because sometime we need to change the particle size, which also affect the velocity, which I don't want. So I separately add velocity, add a merge node and merge them together. Now it's time to add Pyro solver. With default setting, it's look like this. In Pyro solver, in setup tab, my voxel size is 0.1 and advection reflection single project. Leave it by default. Nothing to change. We'll change some setting later. Leave it as a default. In field, I change my dissipation to 0.9 because I want to smoke disappear here, and in shape tab change it to 0.06 because I don't want smoke goes very high. Then I add a wind. For now, just leave it as a default. I change it later, and I add -1 in z direction. Okay, now my smoke goes here because wind effect on the smoke when it's up. Check the disturbance because it's add noise to the edges of the smoke. 15 works fine for me. Base block size 17, roughness, pulse length. Now it's break the smoke at the smoke edge. But one thing, it's also break the smoke where it's slow down, which I don't want. To fix this, add use control field and change this from control range from 0 to, but only check use control field, it's not working. To properly work this, we need to check in the field tab speed, then it works properly. Now the disturbance added on the smoke where it goes in speed, it's not affected the edges. Add turbulence. Turbulence is a force, not noise, and it's add swirls to the smoke. 0.3 work fine for me. I need big swirls, so I change the size to 15. Roughness 0.5, pulse 0.5 is enough, and max octave to 5, and add little bit seeds 8, 9, 10 is enough. Now it's look like this. Now swirls are added by the turbulence. Now it goes very fast, and the large scale smoke goes slow because we need to change the time scale from 1 to 0.4 or 0.35 or 0.3, which give the look of large scale smoke. Now in the sourcing tab, remove burn and flame because we don't need, and add another field. Copy the density with Ctrl C, paste it and add target field to divergence. And for me 3.8 or 4 is work fine. You can change according to your taste. For now I actually increase the speed to show the result quickly. Now it's work fine. Now if we add collision, then it's look very interesting. And make sure also copy the voxel size and paste it as a relative reference, because when we change this voxel size, automatically this also change. Now let's add collision. So for collision I use this add object merge node and collision object. This is my collision object, but it is open in bottom, and when I add divergence, then smoke also goes down and leak through the tower walls, which I don't want. For fixing this problem I add a box, simple box, and transform it here with the 7 scale and 7 scale in X and 7 scale in Z. Then add a merge node and merge these together. Now it is closed. Now add a collision source and change the voxel size to 0.01. Add null, copy it. This is main and this is VDB. This is main and this is VDB. Again merge it and connect to the second input, and show all objects. Now my collision work properly. Now lots of work is done, and now I jump to my final project, which is here. In the pyro solver I add gas wind, which is called micro solver, and make sure also change the time scale of the micro solver. My wind scale 0.3 and turn speed 0.1, join speed 0.1 and -1 in z direction. And I also add gas vortex confinement with default value, and I also change my wind speed to 3.5. Then I copy and paste it here for the second tower. Everything is same. I just only add a transform node here after the merge, which is not here, and move 13 unit in the Z direction, like this. Okay, and everything's are same. And also change some. I change some seeds in turbulence. Then I add a file cache node, connect it, but before cache I change the export setting. I don't want CD, so I uncheck this. I don't want flame, I uncheck this. I check the convert to VDB, use 16 bit float, call volumes and resample volumes. Check this, which is in my final project. Then I selected my folders where I want to cache and save to disk. First I cached high resolution like 0.5. I changed the voxel size to 0.05. I cached them separately, tower 1 and tower 2. And it takes 16.9 GB. But when I render this in 3ds Max in V-Ray, this is the high cache result, but it takes 2 hours per frame, which I cannot afford. So then I cached it again with 0.1 voxel size, which takes only 4.8 GB, 2.5 and 2.31 GB. It takes 10 to 11 minutes per frame. If you want to render this in Houdini, then add a file node and reload the cache, or simply check the reload from disk, then this node also work. Then also add a attribute delete and remove the CD and shop material path because it interact with the material. If you not add this node, then in the smoke shader make sure uncheck tint smoke color with CD, then it's also work. Smoke material for the first tower, smoke material for second tower, and merge, and this is volume visualization for display purpose. I cached it to 280 frames and then clamped it from 150 to 280. I hope you enjoy this. If you have any question, please use the comment box. Please like the video, subscribe my channel. See you in the next video. Goodbye.